This next area of Schoology that we're going to talk about is resources. Resources has so many different features, and so I'm going to talk about them briefly in this video, but then I've also included an article that's going to go more in depth and give you additional resources on how to use the resource section of Schoology. So to get started, you will find resources in this top blue banner of Schoology. Resources is an area that your students have and you have as a teacher. So I'm going to go ahead and click on resources, and it's going to take us to a new page. Now, the first option here on the left is this search icon. This search will be able to search any of the materials that you have listed. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type the word president. This is going to search public resources that have the word president, groups that are using the word president, or personal items that I have saved that have the word president in them. And so it just will narrow my search down. Now I could filter this even more, and I could tell it to look just at my personal items. These are items that I've created and saved, and it will look strictly at that. I could also filter it to a specific collection. Collection is just a fancy word for a folder. So resources or collections are kind of like a digital filing cabinet that you have here in Schoology. So the search is just really helpful to find things that you may have saved. They could be courses that you have saved, and you want to go back and find a resource that's in one of those saved courses. So I definitely encourage you to take a look and use this resources feature, and especially the search feature, because it'll just save you time in helping you try to find information. The next thing we're going to look at is this personal folder. Now, this is like your personal digital filing cabinet. Our personal area has a home. By default, everybody has this home page where it will allow you to save materials, but you can organize this into other boxes of materials, for lack of a better word, or drawers of materials by clicking this Add Collection icon, and that will give you a new place to save your resources and materials to. So I'm just going to click Add Collection here, and I'm going to call this Advanced Schoology course and hit Create. Okay, so now on the left-hand side, I can see my Advanced Schoology course cabinet. Okay, I can click on that. I have no materials currently here, but if I wanted to add a material, I could do so directly from this Add Resources dropdown. Now, this Add Resources dropdown looks very familiar to you because you've seen this in your courses. So the nice thing when you do the Add Resource from resources versus in your course is you can use it from year to year, and it's not course or group specific. And then you can always bring these into those specific courses and groups that you want to use them in. So it's just a nice way to kind of work ahead, maybe work in the summer, create the resources that you want to use before you even have your classes assigned to you. And that way you're not having to wait for your class to kind of start on that work. You can already have your stuff being built here in resources. And then when you do get your courses, you can just bring those resources into the course. The nice thing as well about resources, when you create one of these collections or filing cabinet drawers, you have the ability to share that with other users. So if I click the share option, I can choose people that I want to share it with. So I would select whatever building that they're in. Might be listed as West High. If I'm a high school teacher that I want to share it with, I'm just going to say West Aurora School District, and I'm going to share it with Amy Baglieri, who works in our technology help desk. I'm going to search this. Here she is. I can go ahead and click her name, and I can add her. If I click sharing again, I'm going to see who has access, okay? And I will also be able to change permission. So right now, Amy only has access to view the materials in this folder, but I can also give her the option to edit them. So now this is a collection of materials or resources that both Amy and I have, and we can both utilize them then in whatever courses or groups that we're a member of. We would have the ability to bring these resources into those courses and groups. I'm just going to hit Save Changes. So that's one thing that you can do in this area. You also have this option which you can rename the collection or you can delete it. Maybe you created it and you decided you didn't need it. You can delete that. Okay. Public is public resources. So one thing that people don't realize about Schoology is worldwide. Our Department of Defense schools use Schoology. We have school districts in Korea, in Australia, all over the world that are using Schoology who have great resources that they've created. And they have the ability to share those with other Schoology users. And so you're able to come into the public resources and access any of the items that have been shared publicly. So you can sort it by subject, resource type. So you can see here, differentiation, enrichment, foreign language. You can see the type of resource. You want an assessment, an activity, a puzzle. There's all types that you can find here. The grade level, maybe you want one for a specific, grade. You teach 8th grade. You can filter that out. Or you want a certain file format. So, and then there's ratings. So ones that have been used, you can pick highest rated, meaning other people have used them. They thought they were good and they gave them a good rating. So I encourage you to come and look at the public resources. I can't guarantee the information in the public resources is accurate on the materials or that they're good materials because we didn't create them here at District 129. But why reinvent the wheel if somebody's already created it and it has it out there for you to use? It could be something really good. So take a look and see if it's something that you can use. If we click on group, this is going to give you a listing of the groups that you're a member of. And here you will be able to click on that group, and then any of the resource folders that are in that group, you can access the materials directly from resources. So it's already here for you. Just gives you an easy and quick way to find those. If there's a material that you like in resources, or maybe it's in one group and you want to add it to your course, for example, clicking the little checkbox next to the resource, and that's true whether it's in groups or your personal collections here. If you select one of those items, you will have the option to edit, or here you can select add to your course, copy to, so you can copy it to another group. You can move it. So if you needed to move it, you are the owner of this. You needed to move it somewhere else, you could, or if you're the owner, you have the ability to delete it. So this is an OP training group that I have administrative access to. If I want to add this folder to one of my courses, I could just hit add to course. It's going to give me a listing of the courses that I'm a member of, and I can select that course and it will import it into my materials for that class. So very, very easy to do and a nice way to then incorporate materials across groups or courses. And then lastly is this app section right here, which will show my installed apps, and I can put in my credentials if need be in order to sync it. So things like the Google Drive resource app that we're using in our classroom, this is where you would need to come in, and in order to integrate the Google Drive with your courses, or for your students to integrate their Google Drive with their courses, they have to give permission for Schoology and Google to interact with each other. And so to do that, you would come here to this Google Drive app, you have this options area where you can click account setting. Sometimes it gets disconnected and you have to just come in and reconnect it. It's just giving it permission again to speak with each other. But if that happens, just come here, say connect. It's going to ask you for your login information. That just popped up on another screen of mine, so you're not going to be able to see it. And it just wants you to confirm you are who you are. So as long as you are able to provide your credentials, you can go ahead and hit allow. It will accept that and it will bring in the materials that are in your Google Drive. Now, it's not going to bring in everything in Google Drive. It will bring in your, it's only going to bring in the things that it integrates with, your forms, your PDFs, Word documents, Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets. So again, it's not going to bring in everything, but it's going to bring in everything that it recognizes or the formats that it will work with. So definitely come here. YouTube is another integrated app. So there's all kinds, and depending what apps you installed in the previous part of the course, you may have other ones that are listed here as well. Okay, so that is just kind of a quick overview of the resource area. Hopefully you found that to be helpful. One thing that is nice is once you are utilizing this, if you were to go into one of your courses, I'm just going to go into Ms. Tierfelder's second grade homeroom right now. And I wanted to bring in one of those materials that I've created or I've saved to my resources area. I can do that. All I have to do is go to materials, add materials, and then import from resources. And when I choose that, it's going to ask me, where is this material at? Okay, so I can go, for example, to that advanced Schoology. Now, I didn't save anything there, but if there was something there, I would be able to select it. Or I could go into my home and choose test Schoology. This is a test that I created, and choose import. And now that's going to appear for me here. So I'm going to go ahead and import that. It's going to go to the bottom of my materials list, and then I can move that wherever I want by simply just dragging and dropping that wherever I want to put it. So it will go to the bottom, and then you can arrange that or place that where you want. Hopefully that makes sense and is helpful. If you're not utilizing the resources, it's just a great way to organize your materials that aren't, again, course specific, section specific, and you can use those, like I said, from year to year. The other thing that you can do is you can save an entire course worth of materials to your resources area. If you're not doing that, you've spent all year working on assignments and creating tests and quizzes. You don't have to do that year to year. You can save all of that work that you've put into your course and save it to your resources and then bring it back down into your new section. So I definitely encourage you to do that if you have not. So to do that, when you're on your materials page here, under options, you have save course to resources. So if I hit save course to resources, I can select a folder that I want to place it in. Now, I would encourage you maybe just to select home, and it will put this course in your home collection, or first create a new folder within resources, and then you can select that folder here to save it into. So all I have to do then is hit submit. Okay. And this is a large operation. It tells you that there's a lot of pieces that go into a course, right? So it might not be available right away. It's going to take a little bit of time to transfer all of those pieces to your resources area. So just be patient with that. It might take about 20 minutes. It could take an hour, maybe a little longer, depending on how much information you have there. But it will appear here at the bottom. And actually, you can see it already did here. It created a folder, Mrs. Tierfelder's second grade homeroom section 1. So all of the resources that I had in that course are here for me. Next year, I get a new course. All I have to do is import this to the new course, and all of those materials will appear in that course for me. You are going to have to do things, though, like change your due dates, add your grading categories for your new course. So pieces like that you still will have to maintain, but at least you're not having to recreate all those materials again. I know that was a lot of information. I hope that was helpful. But because it is so much information, you will see below this video are all of the details that we talked about in written form with hyperlinks. And please look over it and reference it if you need to. That way you are able to utilize some of these really neat features that are available to you under resources.